For me, I think the biggest thing that football taught me was how to overcome adversity.
At some point in your life, you're going to have some tough times.
You have to have that next play mentality.
That cohesiveness and that working together, that's really something special that you can't get in a lot of other areas.
When you practice that and you live that in other phases of your life, it becomes second nature because all you know how to do is fight.
It's not an easy game. If it were easy, everyone would do it.
You start to appreciate the smaller contributions that people make. You don't just look at the big one because you knew it took 6 or 7 other guys who are unsung.
And you can't take shortcuts and be successful.
Doing what they do to make it possible for the guy getting the press clippings or whatever it might be.
In this game, whether it's as a coach or a player.
So I would certainly say that you definitely got a very quick lesson in how to overcome adversity playing football.
This week versus Seattle, inside the red zone or maybe even in short yardage situations, I think the New England Patriots can play a quick two-man game against Seattle. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. You're going to use these 2 wide receivers as a decoy. You want to put them as far out as you can, maybe at the bottom of the numbers and just inside between the hash and the number. So now attention will be focused this way because they're going to think you're trying to create one-on-one opportunities, but you're trying to do it on the front side. So what you're going to do is motion this guy as the cadence starts to wind down. And once he gets in between that tackle and the tight end, you snap the football. He's sprinting out on a speed out. That's probably going to influence his cornerback to jump out here. Tight end runs the most automatic play in football, the turn route. Could turn here, could turn there, or even if this guy goes full-fledged on and try to beat that running back to the spot, he can even vacate the open area that he just left. So this is one of the most automatic plays in football. It's a quick stop and pop type pass, one that could be great in short yardage or red zone situations. You're not even looking backside where those 2 wide receivers are. You're just attacking the front side, trying to get the best player on your offense, Rob Gronkowski, the football, and let him do his thing after the catch. It's obvious that the Seattle Seahawks have to continue to get their ground game going. That's what's been missing from this offensive attack this season. And yes, Russell Wilson has been hurt and it has affected the running game. But in this matchup versus New England, I think they can utilize those quick hitters in the running game to neutralize the pressure and also get the running game jump started by a quick hitting play. And the way you can do that, spread the field because you have a mobile quarterback in the backfield and Russell Wilson. You also have a threat and Jimmy Graham that people will pay extra attention to. So you spread the field. Let's say you want to, just like New England, you want to split these guys in between the hash and the numbers. So now you're expanding their defense. You're making this an in-the-box type situation with 5-on-5. And the best way to do so, instead of just running straight up, you're going to try to get creative and influence guys to come upfield and hit them with a quick trap. So what we're going to do, we're going to have the center block back. Play side tackle is going to work up and try to get this backer block. We're going to have this guy kick out that 5 technique over there, or sorry, defensive end over here. Gonna try to work up, get him blocked, and we're kicking out this inside tackle, reverse pivot, hand the ball off, running right inside. And now you have those guys blocking on the slot, but this is where you want him to fly upfield, run right into a trap. You can even run an influence trap where you're gonna ask this offensive lineman to get a good bump on him before he works up to the backer, which helps put him in better position to get trapped. And when you have a guy like Christian Michael that has great burst and explosiveness, a quick hitting trap on the inside could end up being a touchdown versus New England.
I think you have to look at the tight end position being the biggest X factor in this game for New England. They have 2 of the best in the game in Martellus Bennett and Rob Gronkowski. And when you have 1 tight end, you're a very tough team to defend. But when you have 2, it's almost impossible. And I think these 2 guys in this ball game versus that defense can not only help the Patriots out in the passing game, but also in the running game. Speaking of the running game, I think that's going to be the biggest X factor in this contest for Seattle. We saw the passing game start to come to life a little bit more versus Buffalo, but I think in this ball game versus New England, you have to have 2 facets of your offense clicking. You can't beat the Patriots with a one-dimensional approach, so they really need an offensive line to open up holes for Christian Michael and company, so that way they can get the ground game going, so that passing game can continue to flourish for a second week in a row. I like Seattle in this ball game. All things being considered, these two teams are evenly matched from an offensive standpoint to a defensive standpoint, even in the special teams department. So I think the ultimate reason why Seattle will win the game will come down to Russell Wilson and his mobility. We saw him get a little bit more outside the pocket last week versus Buffalo. He seems to be a little bit more healthier than what we saw in the beginning of the season. So I think his legs and his ability to create outside of the framework of the play will be the reason why they knock off New England.